Welcome. Today we are gonna make natto. And natto is a fermented soybean from Japan. It's been in their culture for 1,000 or more years, and a lot of people have it as a part of their daily diet. So the problem is, for Westerners, natto is a little off-putting because it's kind of stringy and sticky, and it has sometimes a strong odor. It doesn't have to, but it often does. And that's the same chemical compound that you find in blue cheese that makes it a little bit more smelly and a little bit gooey, called spermidine. And spermidine is very helpful in the process of autophagy in the body, which is the shedding of damaged or dead DNA and cells. That's one of the aspects in fasting that happens after a certain amount of time. Autophagy starts speeding up and the organs get smaller and you're getting rid of a lot of the old damaged cells. And then when you start re-eating after a fast is when the stem cells start creating fresh new cells for the organs or the tissues. So it's a really important part of our longevity, the health of our organs and our body and our mind. And to me, that makes natto basically a superfood. It has so many health benefits, and yet, to the uninitiated, they're like, natto, it's a little sticky and smelly. And so one of the avenues into starting to enjoy natto and start loving it, because natto lovers really love natto. So I want to try and invite you in. So there's a couple of ways in. One is nutrition, just looking at the nutritional value and all the nutrients that are in natto. So let's take a look at that. So in Japan, natto has a long history of being a very healthy food, part of the daily diet. The same way that something like kimchi and some of the other fermented foods that you find in Asia, there's equivalents all around Asia. Natto is kind of special though because it has ingredients that don't show up in other plant foods, such as K2, which is good for the bone health. As we see from the list, there's all sorts of stuff in there, like calcium, manganese, iron, copper, K1 is there, magnesium, a lot of vitamin C, potassium, zinc, and actually one serving of natto, and this isn't a huge serving of natto for those who like natto, has more percentage of vitamins and minerals than a lot of your off-the-shelf vitamin pills have. So it's pretty amazing. And then if you look further at the bottom of that list, we have probiotics, and it's a very strong source of probiotic as well. So that's probably enough of a nutritional teaser for you. But the other aspect that some people don't like is the smell. And if you think about it, most natto is made in factories in Japan, and some of those are great old family traditions, right? That now, because they're shipping all over the world, need to freeze the natto, and then we defrost the natto, and then we eat it. And by that point, you're definitely not getting totally fresh, same-day, home-cooked natto. So the natto that I'm going to show you really reduces the smell tremendously, and then also the texture and everything is much fresher. So it really is a different experience when you make your own natto at home. So let's go make some. So we'll start with the natto moto, the natto spores. I get this in Japan, but it's sometimes available on Amazon. And then I use a small cup, like a teacup, for putting the natto spores in and the hot water. And then there's the natto beans, the soybeans. And I get this from a company in America here, Chambers Family Farm, Laura's Soybeans. And those are awesome. Soybeans really clean, and they turn out real good for natto. And we'll need the measuring cup. So this is just like a rice measuring cup, 180 ml, the same as 3/4 of a cup. This is just a stainless steel strainer for after you pressure cook. And the pressure cooking I do in the Instant Pot. I'll put a link to that in the Amazon links below. But it has this great stainless steel, it's a food grade stainless steel insert. And I use it for rice and for cooking soups and anything that needs to be pressure cooked. It lasts a long time. And we're going to need one more stainless steel bowl and then a little strainer. And then over here we have glass lock, and this is a square glass lock, and the glass lock makes two different sizes, the small square and the large square. This is the large size, and those fit perfectly in the homeleader yogurt maker. And again, I'll put a link to this in Amazon. I don't make any money off Amazon, but the link will take you to this product. And I've used a lot of different yogurt makers, and this is the best so far. The cool thing is that those glass lock containers fit perfectly in there. And it comes with 6 little yogurt containers, but these give you a lot more natto per batch, and they just fit so perfectly. It's kind of ideal. And then once it's done, the tops just snap on. You can put it in the fridge. So that's an ideal setup. And then finally, I usually cover it with a placemat or towel just to keep it cozy. So first thing, measure out the natto beans, and I use 4 full scoops. Then next, we got to rinse it off, and I use filtered water, but as clean a water as you can, and try to do a good job cleaning off those beans. Then you'll notice that there's some husks that are floating in the water, so pour those off with the water, and then catch the beans. Next, we transfer them over to the Instapot insert. And again, we're going to put filtered water about halfway up and start pressure cooking. Dump these cooked beans into the strainer, but first, again, you're going to see that there's some husks floating in that, so pour those off with the water and catch the beans. Alright, make sure those are strained, and then we're going to transfer them into the other stainless steel bowl. And this next step is important. Usually the natto moto, they recommend putting in 1 smaller scoop. I actually use more. I use 3 good squirts. And then this next step is also very important. You need boiling water, not just hot water. the hotter the water, the more it activates the rough and tumble natto spores. And you just put a little bit in there, maybe, you know, a fifth of a cup or something, and distribute it over the beans. Maybe get a little more out of your cup that way. And then we want to stir this up and distribute that water kind of around all the beans, but just be careful you don't squash too many beans while you're going around. And this should, if my calculations are correct, should yield 2 full containers there. And I found also with this particular yogurt maker, you need a little more oxygen in there than the lid allows. So I put this piece of fabric, and that's just to hold the lid up a teeny bit and let a little more air in. There we go. So then just cover it up and make it cozy. Make sure you press the on and start button, and we're ready to rock. Let's see how we did. And we should see a white coating on the beans, just like that. Yeah, looks perfect. Now, this beautiful bowl here is made by our friend Kazu Oba, and his wife Yuka-san and daughter Maya-chan have this company Oba Ware, which I'll put a link below. But they make beautiful pottery for Japanese restaurants and private collectors. So I recommend checking them out. That looks fantastic. And my dear friend Akihisa Kominato, Komi-chan, is a bit of a natto expert, and when he would stay with me, he'd say, you got to stir this 100 times to make it the best it can be. So that looks pretty good. Now, I'm a huge fan of wasabi, and I may use more than some people, but that's a lot of wasabi. And I particularly love the fresh ground root wasabi. I also really like putting on chives, and in Japan, negi. And then we have shoyu, which sometimes is called soy sauce here. And then you can also put on just a tad of fresh ground ginger, and that's also delicious. But just stir it up a teeny bit, and we are ready to eat. There you go, natto. I hope you enjoyed the process of making it. And once you get the tools and the ingredients for natto, it's really easy to keep a fresh supply of natto in your fridge for every day. If you decide to try natto just for the health benefits alone, then I suspect over time you'll learn to love it like I do. So, bon appetit. I'll see you next time.